let's talk a little bit about attack. To me, the attack of a sound, the very, very first part of the sound, is the first thing that hits the ear. So for that reason, it plays a particular importance in music. What is the attack of a sound? It's so easy distinctively to hear when it's there. The clavinet for me is one of the most sort of attack-like instruments. It's really that first kind of pointy, electric harpsichord kind of sound that really hits the ear. It's very pointy, it's very sharp, it just has that clavinet sound to it. And for me, there's an important distinction in a proper sort of clavinet and in what I would call a dirty clavinet. I say that because years ago we ultra deep sampled a clavinet and it's over 60,000 samples. We had the best clavinet in the best studio with the best mics and the best amps and the best this and that. And we recorded it and got it back and it was pristinely perfect. Only for me to realize that that's actually not what I wanted. I wanted a dirty clavinet. Something that's a little bit beaten up. It's been warming, cooking up in like the ooze of smoke the whole evening. There's something profoundly like beer stain like about it. We're not in the realm of clear, proper studio recordings. We're in the realm of reality, a bar, a funk band. You know, stuff has been on the road. It's aged a little bit. Take that, run it through a variety of analog pedals, the MuTron in particular, really giving it that unique sort of Stevie Wonder superstition sound, which is exactly what we did here. A Vintage D6 with a MuTron pedal is superstition. But we also recorded in so many different ways. There are mechanical sounds off the clavinet, there's multiple amps, there's natural sounds coming from the clav as well, but it's a really dirty instrument in its core. It's also very, very sharp. And I wanted to pay particular attention to the attack of the sound of this library, which is why you can superimpose all these different parts on it. Mechanical sounds, sounds coming from the outside of the instrument, the key sounds, the amp sounds, and the natural clavinet, and offer you the ability to assemble all these parts in many different ways. But that's all the technical stuff. What makes me more giddy and just like, oh, I'm so happy, is that Nicholas Semrad is going to be demoing this instrument here. He's so fabulously good on the clavinet here, so it's such an honor to hear him play this instrument. And without further ado, I say we just get into it. Nick and I are going to talk a little bit. We thought it could be interesting just to do more sort of conversational videos. So in other words, welcome to the Dirty Clav.
Now for something very different.
That's cool, man. I feel like you're truly just vibrating whatever that instrument that was. It was some kind of like strange bass or...
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening. It's all embracing.
Why do you hear country western in that sound, by the way? What is that about?
Probably like old, like I don't know. It's like old country, like I grew up listening to like a lot of like blues and rockabilly and stuff like that.
Rockabilly, maybe that's what
Like I feel like this. I've just heard this 1,000 times in my life.
You get so messy down the bottom every time.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cool, man. I would never have thought that was clavinet by any stretch.
Hey, I'd put a couple of those in there.
One thing I love about the way you play, particularly that one, is how much. I mean, you were at work.
Yeah.
You were looming. I don't know why I thought about looming, but I saw you were like weaving sound, but you're doing all the like you kept the sound excited and moving and.
Yeah, and some of that too is, I mean, again, like we were talking about previously, it's almost like you're planting seeds, you know, because this is like I can play it very short, and you get something. So much that happens after. That like
It sounds like it's almost like.
yeah. I think I did the time. I mess with the time a lot, where you're hearing very slowed down.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
So if I take the verb off, it's also pretty sick, actually. And I'm doing reverse stuff too, so it's like not only slowed down, but
You know what's fascinating about this? Unless you're doing something else, for me, this is a great physics lessons in what the clavinet is. You can hear how pointy it gets on the top. It is a pointy instrument.
Yeah.
Porcupine, I don't know what.
well, and that stuff like sounds like that kind of beg for reverse sometimes, you know, because they hit so hard at the top.
Yeah. And even like there's a little bit of like dunk on the.
Yeah. And then you combine that stuff with, you know, all kinds of other things happening.
The clav for me is like, that it's a particular instrument in the sense that the attack defines it so clearly. Like you almost forget about the rest. It's just that initial bang kind of sound like.
Yeah. Oh. I'm like, yeah, clarity, let's get rid of that. Really like 8-bit soundtrack. I love that when the filter comes up and have the gate doing the tremolo stuff, you hear the like.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's the best. Nick, I can't tell you, man. In the past, like we've noise reduced and everything needs to be so clean, and it couldn't be any like only to realize what the hell, man. That's the
people are all, and people add it back in,
and now we just have it. It's just better that way.
It's so good.
What's going on in the mod wheel?
So it's just changing delay time on the slapback, and it's pretty. It's not a lot because I didn't want it to be like super rowdy, but just to give it that kind of like momentary dissonance, and to give you like a subtle slapback difference. You know, I feel like it changes genres depending on where you're at on the mod wheel. Yeah, it's like psychedelic funk or rockabilly.
I just love how dirty this clav is.
It's really good. The nails and the attack stuff, I mean, that's always a lot of times my issue with keyboard sounds in general is that you don't feel the life of playing a real one. You know, like I've heard samples of clavs that sound better than actual clavs I've played, but the fact that like when I play the clav, it kind of like sounds all messed up and bad. Not bad, but like there's like some mechanical like wrongness to it makes it more enjoyable, makes it sound more real. And so I think the fact that you can like put those in the sound too. And sometimes that stuff is hard to pinpoint. Like it took me a couple of years to be like, why do I not like this? Like it sounds great. Why do I not like these samples I'm hearing? And then you add these pieces and you're like, oh yeah, it's because it didn't have the thing that happens when I like.
Yeah. I think for me, particularly with the clavinet, like the tightness of it is important.
Mm-hmm.
There are sometimes we made one years ago that was a little too sort of loose. For me, it's a tight instrument. Mm-hmm. And then it's that dirt and grit as well. It shouldn't be a perfect instrument because it's not a perfect. It was never perfect to begin with.
My friends and I always call it like shiny, which is probably a bad description, but like the shinier it is sometimes, the more it's like, why don't I dig this? It becomes like subconscious dislike, but this one, yeah, you definitely feel it.
So Nick, that lens up there, it's an old Soviet lens.
Amazing.
And the reason I like to use it is like there's dirt in it.
Yeah.
Like it looks fucking old, like it's from the 60s.
Actual dirt in there.
so we talk about like with lenses, like there's dirt on the lens.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly how I feel about the clav as well.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, and it's subtle, you know, like, I mean, it's easy to go overboard sometimes with that kind of stuff where it's like, here's the dirty version, and then it's just like unusable. So I think you guys found like a really cool, subtle mid area. I gotta save some ideas for other sounds. some HBO soundtrack stuff.
I love the thump you get on the mod wheel.
Yeah. Yeah, it changes, like, especially if you're playing, like, I was trying to differentiate between, like, melodic stuff and supportive stuff, and I think that like, kind of pop gives it kind of more dynamics, and it's almost like not having that puts it in more, like, support role. Yeah, I like that thing. I love that this clav can double as can play just lots of genres. It's always my thing, like with clavinet, is that it sort of hints at guitar territory, and I have such guitar envy as a keyboard player, where I'm like, oh cool, I can kind of get there. Like I can do all these like little guitar-y things, and they sort of sound guitar-y, but also it's a separate instrument too. You know?
What is it about keyboard players wanting to be guitarists? I know Jordan Rudess was talking about the same thing. He's picked up the guitar now, I guess, to try to combat it. Like,
I feel like it flips though too. I mean, like drummers wanting to sound like bass players, you know, or like plenty of guitar players who are like, oh yeah, I can do all these things, but like we can't get those synth tones, you know, because all those guitar synth pedals are terrible. So I don't know. I think it's just grass is greener stuff. It's like, what texture do I love that I'm hearing that I can't pull off? And like strings, man.
if I was to envy the guitar anything, and maybe there's an instrument in the future, a physical instrument made out of this in the future, but it's that I can touch the string, I can bend it.
Yeah.
I feel a little more limited on the piano in that regard.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's why I like vintage instruments like clavs and whirlies and Rhodes. I mean, even like grand pianos and stuff like that, like keep their appeal because you're actually interacting with like mechanics, you know. And so I think like it's cool when you have samples like this that are keeping that interaction in mind, where it's like it's not just the sample, it's you're playing like a machine, you're playing like a piece of wood and hammers and steel, and you know, there's something like organic about that. The
whole journey for us recreating a new audio format, generating 127 velocity layers, is just to get closer to that, recording all the mechanical components. It's all attempts to get a little bit closer to that soul. I totally get what you're saying.
And it's hard to like, I feel like it's hard to describe what those things are, you know, because I even in sitting in front of 3 or 4 different pianos, it's like I can't tell what I like better about the one that I like the best, but odds are it's probably some combination of like mechanics and how does the thing feel when the hammer hits the string, and you know, like there's so much that goes into it, and the fact that you're able to like kind of get closer to that is good.
Yeah, and I think in many ways that's also the journey we have in front of us in terms of how we want to evolve this technology. It's more and more about, for me, it's about making the box alive ultimately. To get all the natural imperfections, to get the feel, the soul of the instrument, you know. But again, like when you sit in front of a real piano, the way the strings interresonate, you have a giant loudspeaker that's like nothing like that exists. You know? So we can only approximate, but then we can do other things.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things pianos can't do. So.
Well, the fact they can talk, I think we talked about that before, that video where there's an actual piano talking. For me, that speaks about how versatile that instrument really, really is, and its in its ultimate depth.
Man, and just the fact that you can tell the difference between players, you know, like it's very hard if you had 15 people hit a nail with a hammer, you're not going to be able to really tell the difference, you know. But like a piano is like, I can have 15 people play the same chord, and I can tell by how they played it just sonically, like probably who each of them are. Fake chorus.
Ah, nice. How did you get that? I sense, even just on a single note, there's some detuning going on.
Yeah. I'm living on the micro pitch.
Micro pitch? Okay.
That's one of those like, yeah, especially if I'm going for recording texture or whatever, there's always some level of like, something is messed up tuning wise. I think, yeah, some of these definitely live in that planet. So dorky.
Just a question. Does your brain work as fast as you play? Are your thoughts?
A lot of that is like muscle memory pattern. Like when I do something like that, I'm trying to like, it's almost like I'm working a muscle this way and I'm just making sure that it shapes whatever chord language I'm in. So I could do that same.
Got it. So it's beyond thought. It's muscle memory.
Yeah, I mean it's muscle memory within a boundary. I mean I'm very much like if I pick the key of C, like I'm trying to stay in that diatonic planet. Even if the pattern's not exactly the same, where I'm not just diatonically moving every note. You know, I'm trying to stay within like pentatonic maybe. Like even or like shorten it where it's just 3 notes or something. Or like just different versions. I don't know. I'm definitely not thinking of every note, but a lot of it is like it's like here's a key planet, like stay in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I could still spell them out probably. Like if you said slow that down and play the same thing again,
sure.
Odds are I could.
Sure.
But as I'm doing it, I'm definitely not thinking like. You know, it's more like play that 6-7 note outburst in that key that is near the hand position that you. You know.
One thing I've enjoyed tremendously about your playing is how clean it is. You can pump out a lot of notes but I can still feel there's a value in each of them. There's no wasted notes, and I think that takes time to learn.
I've fooled you. Yeah, I mean, well, here's the other thing: is that I've practiced making mistakes a lot. So even if it comes out and it's not clean, I feel like I've paid a lot of attention in my life, like as I've been experimenting and being creative and stuff, like how do I get out of that mistake? You know, so if I go to play something and it's like, oh darn, I hit the B and I didn't want to like sit on that thing. It's like, all right, well, very quickly, what other thing could I do that would make the... It's like, oh, I can just shift the top chord. It's like, oh, I played a B, but B wasn't what I wanted, but what is B in? Okay, now what thing does that infer? It's like I'm reacting to my own mistakes or whatever. So I think the cleanliness is an illusion. But I'm glad that you like it.
Don't reveal it all.
Yeah. We'll put a paywall behind that one. Some good backwardsy stuff.
Man. I love when the notes just like gradually fade out.
Things like that too. It's like, and this is kind of back to the like responding to your own mistakes thing. It's like, because the backwards stuff, I could probably practice the sound enough to where I had it exact mentally timed when they're coming back. But for the most part, like if I play, I don't know when each of those things is hitting its reverse peak, and so I'm kind of like reacting to it. You know, so it's like having a conversation with yourself, but from like a few minutes ago or something like that.
So I'm so curious about this because, like, I think with a lot of people using samples, we as performers, composers, producers, whatever, want to be in control. Mm. And what I'm gradually, at least for myself, feeling over time is that that premise is a little bit false, because I'm also at the mercy of what the instrument is trying to tell me.
Yeah.
So the more I listen to the instrument and create it into a dialogue, the better the outcome actually becomes, instead of me trying to enforce my idea on something that may or may not want to go there.
Well, at the end of the day, like, you're not in control of anything. My giant point is the quicker you can kind of like embrace all that and just be like, I have no idea what's happening. I'm going to control whatever I think I can control, which is nothing. And you just embrace the chaos a little bit. Like, things become a bit more ordered. I love high reversey things.